Good morning, all you non-walkers in the Gay Pride Parade. I'm happy to see you. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or watching from home, welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Desert. I'm Bryna Blum, your worship associate this morning. Delighted to be working beside my friend, Rabbi Mark Borovitz, who is an anomaly. He's a formerly incarcerated person who had a spiritual awakening while in prison in 1987. Since then, he has had a career as founding rabbi of Beit Teshuvah in Los Angeles, a residential recovery center and congregation. Since his awakening, he is a beacon of hope for people in recovery, people seeking a spiritual solution for life's challenges, and regular people. He is a great teacher and a sought-after speaker. Before we begin today's service, please take a moment to silence your cell phones. Here, as we do every week, we acknowledge that we are gathered on the unceded lands of the Agua Caliente Band of the Cahuilla people. And we commit to grow in our understanding and relationship with the land and with the people who inhabited it and nurtured it before our arrival. In this congregation where we strive to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person, you are welcome, no matter your sexual orientation or gender identity, your age, your size, whether you're rich or poor. We welcome people of all races, religions, and cultures. We welcome you wherever you come from and whoever you love. We welcome all those who will learn and grow with us as we commit together to embrace the beautiful diversity of the world. Our goal here is to build a community centered in justice, in compassion, and in love. We're glad you're with us this morning, whether you're here in the sanctuary or at home. If you want to learn more about us and our programming, please contact the office at admin@uucod.org or visit our website. Please note, we do not have a song leader today, so I'm counting on you as good Unitarians and good visitors to sing out as though Reverend Ian is here in the pulpit. And now please join me as I ring the Tibetan bowl and we listen as Eddie Clement, who's visiting us today also, plays our music for centering to start our service.
But would you please leave the words to Hatikva up on back up? Thank you. Can you do that? Thank you. I'm sorry, I forgot to tell you that, Marty. But the truth is, I just thought of it now. So, good morning. Good morning. Welcome. I'm not sure everybody heard the ringing of the Tibetan bowl. And I think it's important because music bypasses all of our rational senses. And we have been ringing bowls or ringing chimes, playing the lute and the lyre for thousands of years. So I just want to, with your permission, I'd like to just ring it again. Is that okay with everybody? So the words of Hatikva as long as in the heart within any soul yearns toward the eastern edges, and eye gazes toward Zion. Our hope is not yet lost. The hope that is, at this point, 3,300 years old. Now, you could take it, it's just a Jewish thing. But one of the things about Judaism, for those who do not know, is that Judaism was the original pluralism. Because in Judaism, there's one law for the stranger and the citizen alike. In Judaism, we're taught so many different things that are not parochial, even though the practice of some of the people is parochial. So today is Pride Sunday. Today is, people are marching. There's a parade. And isn't it sad that we have to have it? Think about it. We have to have a day set apart, a month set apart, to honor people's choices of sexuality, honor people's natural tendencies, whatever, rather than the hope that biblical teaching gives us, the hope that the Unitarian Universalist values give us, which is welcoming each person as a unique and holy soul. So today, later on, I'm going to talk about hope, but I want to start with this idea that, for me, hope starts in the morning when I wake up and I say, thank you, force of the universe, creative force of the universe who has restored me to life after sleep, because sleep is kind of like dead. Great is your, with compassion, and great is the faithfulness in me. So for me, I use the word God. I'm a rabbi, so, it's kind of like, what are you going to do? And for other people, it's force of the cosmos, it's nature, it's however you describe something which is greater than yourself, has great faith in us. Each one of us is imbued with faith and with truth and with power to choose the next right action to take. That is the hope of God in the Bible. That's the hope of the power in the universe. That's the hope of nature. And it certainly has to be the hope of us as human beings. And I know it's the hope of UUOCD. So as we go forward today, as we deal with, I don't know about anybody else, but I've heard that there's a little nervousness about Tuesday. Because what's at stake is not a Democrat or a Republican administration. What is at stake is, are we living the spiritual values that are within us? It's about all we have. So, we continue now with the opening hymn, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. And I'm going to turn it over to Bryna because I couldn't carry a tune in a bucket.
I think I own the same bucket. So will we all stand and sing out, please?
Open your
Now, if you'll join me as Rabbi Mark lights our chalice. Does it match? Please read along with me. The words are up above. We light our chalice flame for those who live their lives in closets of shame, for those who furtively visited the bars where nobody knew your name, for the Stonewall riot and the fierce trans women who fought, for the plague which still takes far too many too young too soon. We light our chalice flame for all these, for all our siblings of the rainbow, surviving, living life out in the open with pride. And now if Jane's on, we'll come forward to light our BIPOC candles. Please read along with me. We light these candles in solidarity with Black, Indigenous, and other people of color as we journey together towards spiritual wholeness. May we, as a beloved community, work to dismantle racism and all forms of oppression. May we live out our principles so that justice, dignity, and equity for all prevail. Thank you, Jane. The readings I'm about to share with you are from a wonderful book called Lifting Our Voices. The first is I Can Feel the Suffering of Millions by Anne Frank. I can feel the suffering of millions, and yet if I look up into the heavens, I think it will all come out right, and that this cruelty, too, will end, and that peace and tranquility will return again. In the meantime, I must uphold my ideals. Perhaps the time will come when I shall be able to carry them out. Next is A Prayer for All Travelers by Angela Herrera. This is a prayer for all travelers, for the ones who start out in beauty, who fall from grace, who step gingerly looking for the way back, and for those who are born into the margins, who travel from one liminal space to another, crossing boundaries in search of a center. This is a prayer for the ones whose births are a passing from darkness to darkness, who all their lives are drawn toward the light and keep moving, and for those whose journeys are a winding road that begins and ends in the same place. Though only when the journey is completed do they finally know where they are. For all the travelers, young and old, aching and joyful, weary and full of life, the ones who are here and the ones who are not, the ones who are like you, and they're all like you, and the ones who are different, for in some ways we each travel alone. This is a prayer for traveling mercies and sure-footedness and clear vision, for bread, for your spirit and your body, for water, for your safe arrival, and for everyone you meet along the way.
So, good morning again. Thank you for being here. Thank you for having me. Thank you, Bryna, for asking me. Thank you, Reverend Ian, for going along with it. I want to state right off the bat, nothing I say is about politics. I am the least political person you will ever meet. Everything I speak about comes from deep within my soul. And the reason I decided on where will our hope come from is because of the nervousness of people over what's going to happen. Not so much what's going to happen Tuesday, but what's going to happen Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and forward. And it comes from, it's a takeoff on Psalm 123. Essa El Heharim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri, Ezri Me'im Adonai, Osei Shamayim V'ha'aretz. Where will my help come from? I look up to the mountains and I ask, where will my help come from? My help comes from God, from the source of all creation, from the Big Bang, from the energy in this universe that creates everything. So, in thinking about this, and then listening to, of course, I can feel the suffering of millions, and if I look up to the heavens, I think it'll all come out all right. And all the travelers, the prayer. We're all traveling. All of us are travelers. All of us have ideals. All of us feel the suffering of millions. All of us feel the suffering of ourselves. And in this feeling, we have to make a choice. And that choice is multifolded. It's a complex choice, not a complicated one. And we can simplify it without dumbing it down. Where will our help come from? Our help comes first and foremost from the principles that we hold dear. So in looking at the Unitarian Universalist values, interdependence, my hope comes from the fact that I need you and I know it. Do you know that you need somebody else? That was a question. Do you know that you need another human being? Do you ask for that help? See, hope gives me the power and the strength to ask for the help even if I get rejected once. Because we are interdependent. In the Jewish tradition, it says that we're all created from Adam. We all are descended from the first human, male and female created God both. Just so you know, the first human was androgynous, male and female, or female and male, whichever way you want to look at it. And the whole idea of the rib was actually splitting because they were looking. They were both looking forward in different directions, and the splitting at the side allowed them to come together, to see one another. So in this interdependence, my hope is always that you're going to see the soul that I am, see the image of spirit that I sometimes can't reflect out because I'm so scared and so lost. But my hope is that, like my wife did some 35 years ago, like a rabbi did some 36 years ago, 7 years ago, you'll call out to that soul. And I can have that hope because I have faith, and I have faith because it's already happened. Anybody here ever felt seen by another human being? Come on. I mean, I love audience participation. Argue with me, yell at me, anything, but just don't. Oh, I thought this was my sermon. Ooh. Okay, we'll meditate after my sermon. How's that? I'm sorry. I apologize. I certainly screwed this one up. And my hope is that we'll figure it out. So where does our hope come from? This interdependence. It comes from the knowing or the obligation, if you will. Because, I don't know if you're aware of this, but religion comes from the Latin meaning to bind. To bind. We have to bind ourselves to one another. So, I am responsible for you, and I'm responsible to you, just as you're responsible for me, and you're responsible to me. Pluralism. We celebrate all sacred beings. Again, going back to the Talmud, it says that we all come from one, the first human, because to let us know that that all of us have infinite worth and dignity. Because the Jewish tradition teaches that whoever kills a single soul, as if they have destroyed, whoever destroys a single soul, it's as if they've destroyed an entire world. So anybody who says Puerto Rico is garbage, anybody who says Haitians are eating cats and dogs, anybody who says anything like that, anybody who sees a person of color and says, I have to go to the other side of the street, anybody who blames the Jew for all of the money troubles because they're money grubbing, whats, they're destroying souls. So how can you tell me that you're a Unitarian and believe in universalism? But because it is a value of ours, because as Jews, as human beings, we know that each person is worth an entire world, and we have to treat you in such a manner as a precious gem. Our hope is that one day the whole world will see that. Second reason we all come from one human being. So nobody says, my father was better than yours and I am elevated over you. Nobody says, only I can protect you. Nobody says that I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that. Nobody points fingers and looks down at another human being, because how can you look down at somebody when we're all equal in value and worth and dignity? If we celebrate that all sacred beings, diverse and that we are all sacred beings and diverse, I have to see you as equal. Finally, the third reason, because each person, unlike humans when they mint coins, the force of the cosmos, in minting humans, each one of us is different and unique. There's nobody else like you. So my hope is that one day you'll stop trying to make me into a Stepford wife. I'm going to stop trying to make you over in my image. Anybody have children? Right? How's it worked when you tried to make your child over in your image and they were, shall we say, not going along with it? That's pluralism. Where does my hope come from? That justice is embedded into the world. But not just justice, righteous justice. Justice tempered with mercy, mercy tempered with justice. That we learn how to live into the both and of living, of life. That this is true and this is true. That we let go of our need to be so terminally unique, as us alcoholics used to be. Oh, by the way, I'm in recovery from alcoholism. I'm coming up to 36 years in December, so one of the things I learned right away is don't be terminally unique, because it'll kill you. And I've seen a lot of people die because they thought they were so unique. And I've seen a lot of slavery, a lot of harm, a lot of destruction from people who think they're unique and only they know. You ever meet somebody who thinks they're the smartest person in the room and tells you, this is what I am so smart, you have to listen to me? That only I know how to fix the economy, only I know how to fix this, only I know how to treat a woman, only I, all those things. My hope comes from that deep within our souls, we want to live justly. Now, where it says transformation, I don't think that we adapt to the changing world. I disagree, sorry to say. I think transformation is an ongoing process where we keep growing into our own authenticity. That we keep learning more about our souls, that we keep illuminating the inner chaos that lives within us so that we can deal with it better and we don't have to externalize it. That I no longer need to blame somebody because I feel shame. Transformation is, for me, knowing that I am going to grow 1 grain of sand better today than I was yesterday. Because I'm engaged in learning. That I want to know you. That I want to be connected. That I need you. And I need you to see me. That all of my old ideas, I just change them. They transform, they grow. That I never stay stuck in what I believed yesterday because I learned something new today. How many of you have really learned something new every day? Are you excited when you wake up to learn something new? That's hope. Generosity, gratitude, hope, but also giving. Where does my hope come from? The fact that I can give you something. That I can reach out my hand. Did you ever walk down? So I'm a guy that walks down the street all the time, and I say hello to everybody. My wife calls me Mr. Congeniality. Don't you, dear? Maybe 50% of the people even acknowledge it. Now, why do I say hello? Because I want you to know you're being seen. I want somebody to know that they matter, that they're important, they're needed. That's generosity. And my hope is one day we'll be at the tipping point and we'll have 51% of the people at least acknowledge one another with a hello back. Equity. Well, equity is that whole idea of inherent dignity and worthiness. But where does all this come from? It comes from deep in our soul, and we have to stop letting our minds override what our spirits tell us. Anne Frank's words. Listen to this. She is absolutely locked up. You know the story of Anne Frank, right, everybody? I can feel the suffering of millions, and yet if I look up into the heavens, I think that it will all come right, that this cruelty too will end. How does it end? For her, it ends in death. Dysentery in a concentration camp. For 20% of the people that went into the concentration camps, it ended in survival. For millions, death. We have to take this moment, this hope, and turn it into action. So where does my hope come from? It comes from the knowledge that when we take action as a people, when we do things that are good for another human being, that when we stand up and say no to tyranny, no to the pharaohs, no to the authoritarians, no to the religious bigots, no to the bigotry of anyone and everyone, no to the lies that we tell ourselves, no to the self-deceptions and deceptions of others, no to the false problems that we come up with because we don't want to see truth, then our hope becomes action. Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, one of my favorite teachers, I write a blog on him every day on some piece of his wisdom. And I actually think it's pretty good, just so you know. If you ever want to check it out, rabbimark.com, you can follow the blog. He says, faith is faithfulness. Loyalty to an event. For me, the event was December 1986, when I was arrested for the last time, thank God. And it wasn't the first. And I had this spiritual awakening that the cosmos was trying to tell me something. I stay loyal to that event, and I stay loyal to the response. Listen and learn. What's the next right thing to do? You're here either in person or on Zoom because you're committed to the universalist values. So you have hope. Now's the time. Tuesday, today, tomorrow, Tuesday. And going forward, to put the values into action, because that ultimately is where our hope comes from. Thank you. So my meditation, Spirit of life. You've imbued us, every one of us, with eyes that can see. And today, we once again commit to lifting up our eyes and truly seeing what is. Spirit of life, you give us ears to hear. Today, we commit a little bit more to hearing the truth and the call of another human being to us. Spirit of life, you give us a heart and a soul to feel and experience. And today we commit to open them both up a little bit more, to take in more of the light and the goodness of the universe, of the people around us, and let our own out a little bit more. And I do apologize for going out of order.
So let me just ask AV and our pianist, can we back into Spirit of Life? Because I think we need to hear that. Is that possible, AV team? Up on the screen?
There.
Spirit of life, come unto me, save my heart, all stirrings of compassion, blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. I'm going to pass on our closing hymn and go to congregational news. Next Sunday is the second Sunday of the month, so please, it's getting cold out. Please bring socks for those less fortunate than ourselves who are living in shelters or more so living on the street. On behalf of a very tired Carol Lavoie, is she here? Time is running out to buy tickets for the UUCOD 2024 auction. The drop-in Best Buy silent auction is this coming Friday from 10 to 4, so drop in anytime. And the live auction is next Saturday night, starting at 6 p.m., and bidding starts at 6:30. If you are unable to attend the auction, you can still bid. Just email the items that you are in which you're interested, how to correct my English, along with the top bids to Carol Lavoie, which is mclavoie@aol.com, and a proxy bidder will be assigned to you. You can also place proxy bids at the patio auction after the service. Ladies, November's Ladies' Night Out is now Gals Who Do Lunch. We will gather at Barrel District Pizza in Cathedral City at noon on November 11th. There is outside dining, weather permitting, of course, and separate checks. Although they ask if two people on the same check, please sit together. The restaurant has a large variety of food, not just pizza, so please RSVP to Cheryl muffingolf@gmail.com and join in lively conversation and good food. The sign-up sheet is also on the round table in the foyer. As always, I want to thank everyone who had a part in today's service. Rabbi Mark, thank you, thank you. Eddie, thank you, thank you. The ushers, the greeters, the hospitality team, you always do a great job. And to the AV team, I have so much respect for you. I even lend you my husband every week. And the time you all put into making this work every week. Finally, friends, you are my friends. If you appreciate what you experience here every week, please become part of the experience. We need volunteers. Now please join me as Rabbi Mark extinguishes the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Closing words. Well, again, thank you. And to the AV team, I apologize. I know I went out of order, and people who know me, I'm kind of famous for that, and I apologize. And thank you for being so flexible. And thank you, Bryna, for inviting me. Thank you for putting up with my out-of-orderness, too. And most of all, thank you to all of you. As we walk out of here today, I want us to walk out with hope. I want us to walk out knowing that we're going to be able to deal with whatever happens because we have values that ground us. Ground us to this land. Ground us in being a people, a community that welcomes the stranger, cares for the orphan, cares for the widow, provides for the needy, and embraces the poor. Those 5 things are mentioned 36 times in the first 5 books of the Bible. The problem with some of those religious bigots is that they forget that. Nothing else is mentioned 36 times in the Bible, the first 5 books. So we know we have the hope because we have the power within us to be grounded and rooted by our values, and we live them in our everyday affairs. That's the joy of being a member of the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Desert. It's the joy and the power of being people of faith. And it's the joy and the power of being human. Blessings.